Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. We have more gaming and PlayStation news, rumours and leaks to go over. If you enjoyed today's video, please show your support by hitting that like button. Now, I've already made a few videos about the next-gen Red Dead Redemption 2 patch coming out later this year. Now, there are many more rumours floating around, more rumours, more leaks and more reports which keep resurfacing. And as I always say, there is no smoke without fire. And now we have another new rumour. This time it also involves GTA 4. It looks like Rockstar Games might have more in store for players than we initially thought. And over the past week, several subtle but significant updates have been appearing on the Rockstar support pages. Now, this is sparking fresh speculation around two of the studio's most beloved titles, and they are Red Dead Redemption 2 and Grand Theft Auto 4. Now, for Red Dead Redemption 2, for a brief time, Rockstar support site featured a new tab labeled Online Migration under the help section for Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, to most people, that might not seem like a big deal, but to long-time fans and those familiar with Rockstar's past moves, especially what they did with GTA 5, this raised a lot of eyebrows. Why, you may ask? Because a migration tool usually means progress is being moved from one console generation to another, just like Rockstar did when players transferred their GTA Online characters from PS4 to PS5. This update suggests a similar plan could be in the works for Red Dead Online. Considering that Red Dead Redemption 2 currently only exists as a PlayStation 4 title on PlayStation, an upgrade to PlayStation 5 hardware seems not only possible, but very likely too. Of course, that tab has since been removed, but that hasn't stopped the excitement and the hype. It's not just this single update either. Earlier this year, some of the game's cast members started to tease exciting news on social media, only for fans to be let down when it turned out to be a panel appearance and not a game update. We also had news come out about Red Dead Redemption coming out for the Switch 2 later this year, which was going to be timed with the next-gen patch or remaster coming to the current generation consoles. But even more telling was Rockstar's quiet decision to push out new missions for Red Dead Online, despite having declared years ago that they were done updating that mode. That move caught a lot of the community off guard, and it further fueled rumours that a current generation re-release might be in the works. Now, while it's still possible that all of this is just internal housekeeping or support site errors, the pattern is starting to look like it's all too deliberate to ignore. With the PlayStation 5 well into its life cycle and next generation updates becoming a standard in the industry, giving Red Dead Redemption 2 a proper PlayStation 5 version would be a smart move, especially as fans continue to praise its immersive world, deep storytelling and unmatched atmosphere. And with regards to GTA 4, recently GTA 4 fans noticed something odd on the GTA 4 support page. The list of platforms was updated to include PlayStation 4, a console the game has never officially launched on. That small detail has changed back but caused hype and excitement within the community, hinting that Rockstar might be preparing for a PlayStation 4 version of GTA 4, possibly even a remaster. What makes this more believable is that these whispers have been circulating for quite a while now. According to a known Rockstar insider, Tez2, a remaster of GTA 4 has been quietly in development since at least 2023. He believes an official announcement could drop later in 2025, and that the recent removal of certain GTA 4 PC mods, like the Liberty City Police project, might be related to this upcoming release. Tez2 also mentioned something interesting: if Rockstar sticks to its old pandemic-era roadmap, then a Max Payne 3 remaster might follow GTA 4 sometime down the line. That would also line up with the company's pattern of slowly reintroducing its older titles to a newer generation of gamers, and also ensuring that these games that previously haven't hit the Switch platform are now available for the Switch 2. It's also worth noting that back in 2022, there were already discussions within Rockstar about remastering both Red Dead Redemption and GTA 4. But after the dodgy launch of Grand Theft Auto The Trilogy Definitive Edition, which received heavy criticism for its performance issues and bugs, the studio reportedly shelved both of those projects. Still, Red Dead Redemption did eventually receive a re-release, suggesting that plans were merely delayed and not scrapped entirely. GTA 4 originally launched in 2008 on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, with a PC release the following year later. Despite being over 15 years old, many fans regard GTA 4 as one of the best GTA games in the series. The game still holds up for many fans thanks to its gritty tone, detailed city design and unforgettable characters like Nico. Putting all these pieces together, it's clear that Rockstar isn't done with its older games just yet. Whether it's giving Red Dead Redemption 2 a proper PlayStation 5 version or finally bringing GTA 4 to modern consoles, the signs are hard to ignore. And let's be honest, these aren't just throwaway ports. Both of these titles are major parts of Rockstar's legacy. A PlayStation 5 version of Red Dead Redemption 2 with enhanced visuals and smoother performance could reintroduce the game to a new wave of players who may have missed the game first time round. Likewise, a remastered GTA 4 would let fans revisit Liberty City in a more polished and accessible form. Rockstar hasn't officially announced anything yet, but with all the support page tweaks, insider leaks and recent developer activity, something definitely seems to be happening behind the scenes. If these re-releases are in the pipeline, we'd expect to hear about them soon, especially with the increasing demand for current gen versions of fan favorite games. So, what do you guys think? Would you be interested in playing Red Dead Redemption 2 on PlayStation 5 with updated graphics, or jumping back into GTA 4 with a full remaster? Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments and let's move on. Now, reports are coming out that Sony Bend has either been working on or has had multiple cancelled and unannounced projects. So what the hell's going on with Sony Bend? I mean, the team is known for creating Days Gone. They've recently made the headlines again, but this time it's not because of a new game reveal. Instead, it's because of some updates spotted on a former developer's LinkedIn profile, which suggests that the studio has had multiple projects either cancelled or never publicly announced. And according to Jacob Fieth, who worked at Sony Bend from late 2019 until mid-2025, the studio has been juggling several different ideas over the last few years, some of which unfortunately didn't make it past the development stage. Now, on his profile, Jacob mentions that he contributed to multiple cancelled and unannounced projects during his time at the company. He also outlined some of the tasks that he was involved with, such as working on open world events, puzzles, system prototypes, and designing points of interest in expansive game environments. Now, this kind of behind the scenes development work is pretty common within the gaming industries. Many studios often try out new ideas or prototypes that often never end up becoming full games, but they do tend to use some of the assets or the ideas for other games in the future. But what makes this more significant is the timing and what we already know about Bend's studio's recent struggles. Earlier this year, it was widely reported that Sony Bend was working on a live service game. That project, however, was cancelled by Sony, and it led to a layoff of roughly 30% of the studio's workforce, according to a report from Bloomberg. This has sparked a lot of speculation about the studio's direction. Since launching Days Gone back in 2019, which was later ported to PC and got a lot more positive attention there, the studio hasn't released a new title. Fans have been hoping for a sequel to Days Gone, but Sony reportedly passed on the idea. It's worth remembering that Sony Bend has a long history with PlayStation. They were the original team behind the amazing Siphon Filter series on the original PlayStation, and they even developed Uncharted Golden Abyss for the PS Vita, a game that pushed the boundaries of what was possible on that handheld system. But in recent years, the studio has found itself in a bit of a tough spot, with Sony moving more towards blockbuster single-player games and big-budget live service titles. Smaller, more experimental projects can easily be shelved, and it appears this is what seems to have happened here. We don't know the names or the concepts behind the cancelled or unannounced games Jacob referred to, and there hasn't been any official word from Sony or from Bend Studio about the future projects. But this new information gives us a peek into behind-the-scenes challenges developers face, especially when working within a big publisher's evolving strategy. For now, we don't know what Sony Bend is currently working on, but hopefully the talented team there will get another chance to show what they can do, whether it's a new IP, a spiritual successor to Days Gone, or something entirely unexpected. Right guys, let's move on. Sony recently released a short trailer celebrating 15 years of PlayStation Plus. What began as a simple online service back on the PlayStation 3 in 2010 has evolved into something much bigger over the years. Today, PS Plus is split into 3 subscription tiers: PS Plus Essential, PS Plus Extra, and PS Plus Premium. While the anniversary trailer was mostly a nostalgic look back at how far the service has come, it ended with a message that caught the attention saying, "We're just getting started." And that's a bold statement, and one that hints that Sony is planning more upgrades and content for the future. With competition heating up from Xbox's Gamepass, there's a lot of pressure on Sony to continue improving PS Plus, especially given how much the top tier costs. To Sony's credit, recent updates to the service have been well received, with games like Cyberpunk 2077, Twisted Metal 4, and other fan favorites that have been added to the extra and premium libraries. But the big question now is, where does PlayStation Plus go from here? Will Sony expand cloud gaming further? Will it offer more day one releases like Xbox? Will Sony allow the premium tier members of PlayStation Plus Premium to play those games on a PC launcher? Or maybe Sony is looking to revamp the retro catalog, which still feels a little bit thin. Either way, fans are watching closely, and with that just getting started promise hanging in the air, expectations are high. So what do you think this could be? Guys, let me know in the comments and let's move on. Now, Marvel's Blade, this game is being developed by Arcane Studios, the same team behind Dishonored, Prey and Deathloop. It was first announced during the Game Awards in 2023, and the idea of Arcane tackling a dark, character-driven superhero game like Blade had fans immediately excited. However, new information has revealed that the game is still very early on in development. According to a recent report based on company financials, Arcane only entered full production on the game in late 2024. That means we're probably still at 3 or 4 years away from seeing it if we're lucky. Since its reveal, there's been very little new footage or updates. The project has been kept under wraps, which isn't unusual for a AAA title this early in the production lifecycle. There were even rumors that the game had been cancelled, especially considering the mass layoffs across Microsoft earlier this month. But those rumors turned out to be false. The game is still in active development, and Arcane is still leading the charge. There's also been no official confirmation yet about whether Marvel's Blade will come to PlayStation 5, but given Microsoft's recent trend of releasing more of its games on multiple platforms, like Hi-Fi Rush and the upcoming Outer Worlds, Forza, Gears, we know Halo's coming out, it's becoming increasingly likely that Blade will not be an Xbox exclusive. In fact, I think we can put a pin in the Xbox exclusive games going forward. I think we can take that any game coming out on Xbox will indeed be making its way over to PlayStation. But disappointing that the game is still in early development. Although if they did start development in 2024, we won't be seeing that game until at least 2028 at the very earliest. And speaking of Xbox, there's more happening behind the scenes with Gamepass. Now, a former senior business development manager at Microsoft, Ian McIntyre, recently updated his LinkedIn profile to include some eye-opening information. During his time at Xbox, he helped negotiate over 500 deals to bring games into the Gamepass library. These deals ranged in value from as little as $50,000 all the way up to $50 million. That's a huge range, and while the $50 million figure is probably reserved for massive AAA titles like Call of Duty or Diablo, it still highlights just how much Microsoft is investing to make Game Pass competitive. This level of spending also raises some concerns about whether the Game Pass model is truly sustainable in the long run. After all, if Xbox is shelling out millions every month to keep its library fresh, it needs a huge number of active subscribers to break even, or better yet, turn a profit. Some inside voices, including a former head at Arcane Austin, have questioned whether this model makes long-term financial sense. They argue that even though Microsoft has deep pockets to fund Game Pass for now, expectations for revenue and growth are extremely high. If those expectations are not met, Microsoft could end up scaling back its investment, or worse, putting more studios at risk. This tension has already started to show. A few weeks ago, Microsoft laid off nearly 9,000 employees, including many from its gaming division. And with such large sums being poured into Game Pass, and with more and more studios being asked to deliver results first, it's clear that Xbox is walking a tightrope between ambition and pressure. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments about the content discussed today, and I'll catch you on the next video.